All right, good morning, my beloved. Let's give honor and praise to Jupiter today and his beloved father, Saturn, because that's what's ruling. If you're not giving him honor, you're not getting what you ought to be. And if you're following modern principles, you're probably not getting what you ought to be. You're probably buying a lot of books, looking at a lot of things online, and just copying them, right? And that's a practice. Let me assure you that your intuition must be worked. If you don't have a secondary voice in your mind telling you to do this or that while you're looking at things, or while you're asking questions to yourself, because it's required through this process of craft building, you're not getting what you ought to. If you're running to a book, because let's be honest, the mystics before us and the ancients before us didn't run to a book. They had a couple of options, right? One, meet somebody who they for sure knew was in that craft. Test them out, go over there and pick their brain. And they should have certain traits, right? And are able to build you up in a helpful benefit. Because if that person's not interested in building you, you ain't getting nothing. Bottom line, you need to find somebody in that craft you're trying to do. Just like a trade. It's a trade, guys. This is what trades were way back when. The information was hidden. Just like they don't give you fucking blueprints. They don't lay out plans for intricate buildings for architecture. And we'll talk about the architect, because you actually are the architect. This is a work in process, a work in progress. That's why the Masons keep telling you that it's a great work, your work, you are the master builder. There is some truth and credence to that. The powers that are ruling are allowing us to have some capacity of plasticity to the reality. In other words, you can form your own reality almost within the parameters, right? Most people say that would be going crazy, but if you talk from person to person, you realize everyone's living out their own paradigm, and we're all able to coexist in the same form and function, because the stuff we're talking about and doing, it all happens in the same place. So, when we talk about information that was been given to us as a humanity that we're living out, it's not earthly information. It has to be celestial. These ancients were bringing down personalities from the stars, personalities from the constellations. You already get it formatted into your existence, and it's an archetypal concept associated with all humanity. And we look at the annals of history, we see repetitive topics. You can't just look back there at their witchcraft sigils back then and then just copy them like, oh, that's it. No, you got to understand that those patterns are going to reoccur. And they're going to reoccur for you as a vision, if you get the vision. And then you have to figure out how to power that sigil up. You can't just get a sigil. You can't just get part of craft. You got to know the whole thing. You have to have the knowledge to make it work, right? That's why you can go online all you want and copy all the sigils you want. You ain't getting a damn thing out of it. You need to meet another person in that craft. You can't just run off on your own in the craft and start it and initiate it without knowing the function and format for how the existence is put together. If you don't have some of those ingredients, you're not going to make it to the archetypal voice that tells you, do this. No, you want to look at it like that. You want to look at it like this. If you're doing this craft, it needs to be kind of like this. You need to apply principles to stuff. Well, where do the principles come from? They're extraterrestrial. That's what we believe. We believe they're also terrestrial. There are spiritual mind power we have access here, and spiritual mind power that we have access above Malkuth, right? Above the earth. So earthly spiritual access is going to give you access to personalities that dwell on the earth, right? The temporal access you get, or unlimited access, depends who you are to who they are, because there's levels, right? Is everyone Solomon? Is everyone the greatest people that ever were? We believe these minds, although they may not always have been attached to magic or mysticism, these minds repeat, right? And we believe the repetition in rulership, no matter where you're at, you're either getting Jove or Saturn. Those are the two ruling parties. There's not another ruling party. That reflective personality is reflected into every group of people. That's why it's muddled. That's why it's like universal knowledge. Yes, there is universal knowledge because the things that govern this place are universally the same from people to people. People want to attach it to culture. No, that's not their culture. These things that were imprinted in these people's minds to continue and build with through an intuitive process that did not require books, right? So if you're a witch and you just started copying sigils and you didn't have it flash in your eye, or you didn't get it through the intuitive process, or you don't have an intuitive thing teaching you, because it's a mind that teaches your mind. That's what all the ancients were talking about. It's a God mind, right? It's a mind above their mind. If you're not Aleister Crowley talked about it. If you're not accessing it, you need to get there first. Then add the rest. Have a great rest of your day, beloved. We'll talk more about bringing down star power and personality for y'all to talk about and really get a look at, because realistically, this is our reality. We have flexibility with it. It's plastic, right? There is social mobility, but we believe it's getting locked up because of what's getting communicated, set up to help people who are keeping secrets a certain way from allowing it to spill over upward social mobility, and it's locking up the age. There's only a couple of directions it can go, and the solution is getting close to cosmic. It's not the we talk to you and you make decisions differently. It's the we make something major happen and we create an entire vibration and mind power that shifted from the current one to make a major change. And that's what we keep talking about. Even the astrologers are talking about stuff like that. A polarity shift. We believe it. It exists. And it's in the minds of people, not in the books. You have to talk to people and listen to their minds. That's where real mysticism comes from. That's my pertinent and concerted opinion is yes, the annals of history have indications that mysticism exists. Should you be copying that? That gives you an idea of what it might format like. To give you an idea if you're on an intuitive path, if your intuitions are lining up with the things that were done before, right? If you're seeing things in the clouds that are not normal. Say you see a bunch of globuluses stacked in a diamond form with a cross leaking into it from the top. Is that normal? No. You write that down. Don't write that one down. That's mine. I was playing with you. If you get it before me, then you get it before me. But you have to learn how to power it up. So, those are some thoughts. Later, my beloved. There's way more to this mysticism than reading a fucking book. You'll have a great rest of your day.